Welcome to my channel. Subscribe and enjoy my new stories every day. We were midway through a quiet dinner, the kind where the clinking of forks against plates filled the gaps in our sparse conversation. My wife, Elena, had made her favorite, spaghetti carbonara, and despite the rich aroma, my appetite was absent. She chatted about her day, her words floating over the simmering tension that had become a regular guest at our table. Just as I was about to comment on her new haircut, a sharp knock at the door sliced through the mundane exchange. We exchanged puzzled looks. Unexpected visitors were rare in our quiet, gated community. "I'll get it," I offered, pushing back from the table with a sense of relief to escape, even momentarily. At the door, I found no one. Only a small, nondescript package lay on the doormat, addressed to me, Michael Carter. The box bore no return address, only the hastily scrawled urgency of my name in bold letters. Curiosity piqued, I brought it inside, setting it on the kitchen island under the scrutinizing gaze of Elena. "What is it?" Her voice carried a mix of curiosity and caution. "Not sure," I replied, slicing through the tape. Inside, nestled among a nest of bubble wrap, was a single flash drive, black and unremarkable. My heart thudded oddly as I extracted it. Just this. A flash drive? From whom? No idea. The absence of a sender's note added layers to the mystery. I moved towards the laptop, driven by a mix of apprehension and curiosity. Elena followed, her silk robe swishing softly against her legs. As the laptop booted up, the air between us thickened with unspoken questions. I plugged in the drive, and a folder popped open, revealing a series of videos labeled with dates and locations around the city. "Michael, what is this?" Elena's voice trembled slightly, a crack in her usual composure. Without answering, I clicked on the first video. The footage was grainy but unmistakable. There she was, my wife, passionately kissing a man I had never seen, in a park under the fall-colored trees. My stomach churned as the next video showed them again, laughing and holding hands, in a cafe we used to visit together. Each clip was a stab, dismantling the life I thought we had. I looked over at Elena, her face pale, eyes wide and fearful. "Elena? What is this?" I can explain," she stammered, but her voice was drowned out by the loud pounding in my ears. "Why?" It was all I could muster, a whisper of betrayal. "It was a mistake, Michael. It was over long ago." Her words spilled out in a frantic, tangled mess, but my mind clung to the cold clarity of betrayal. I shut the laptop with a snap. "Who sent this? Why now?" Elena swallowed, her hands trembling. It's him, Alex. He must have sent it. We were involved, but I ended it. He wanted money, said he'd ruin me if I didn't pay. The confession shattered the final hopes I harbored. Not only had she cheated, but she had entangled herself with someone dangerous enough to seek revenge through exposure. I stood, my chair scraping loudly against the tile. "You've ruined us, Elena." Her pleas followed me as I walked to our bedroom, each step echoing like a gavel. I packed a bag with cold efficiency, the weight of each folded shirt compounded by the gravity of her deceit. "I need to think," I said when I returned, bag in hand. Her face was streaked with tears, her usual poise crumbled into desperation. "Please, Michael, we can fix this. There's nothing left to fix." My voice was hollow, the words a closure I wasn't sure I was ready for. "I'm leaving." As I stepped out into the cool night air, the finality of the evening was palpable. The quiet that had once comforted now screamed of the emptiness ahead. But one thing was clear, I would not let this betrayal define me. Revenge, cold and calculated, began to take shape in my mind as I drove away. The hum of the city at night seemed different as I drove, each red light a pause to reflect on the wreckage of my marriage. My thoughts were chaotic, oscillating between anger and a hollow sadness. But beneath it all, a plan began to take root, a plan not just for retribution but for reclaiming my dignity. I found myself pulling into the parking lot of a 24-hour diner, the neon sign a beacon in the darkness. The bell dinged over the door as I entered, the smell of coffee and fried food enveloping me. I chose a booth at the back, away from the few late-night patrons, and pulled out my phone. First, I needed information. I opened my contacts, scrolling past Elena's name with a stab of betrayal, and found the number of an old friend, Leo, who worked in private security. The phone rang twice before he picked up. "Leo, it's Michael. I need a favor." "Mike? What's up?" "It's late." I hesitated, the reality of speaking it aloud making it all too real. "I need to find someone discreetly. Can you help?" There was a pause, and then, "Sure, man. What's going on?" I took a deep breath. "It's Elena. She was unfaithful. I got a flash drive tonight, videos of her with another man. I need to know who he is, and who sent me this." "Damn, Mike, I'm sorry. Send me what you've got. I'll look into it." Gratitude mixed with the bitterness of the situation. "Thanks, Leo. I'll send everything over now." I forwarded the videos and closed my phone, my appetite gone. The waitress approached, a sympathetic smile on her face as she poured me a cup of coffee. "Rough night?" she asked. "You could say that. You want to order anything?" "Just the coffee, thanks." As she walked away, my phone buzzed. Leo was quick. "Got it, Mike. I'll start first thing in the morning. We'll find this guy." The coffee was bitter, but it grounded me. I had a long night ahead, and decisions to make. After an hour of flicking through news articles and not really reading them, I drove back home, to the house I no longer felt was home. The living room was dark and silent as I entered. The faint moonlight casting shadows that seemed to whisper Elena's deceit. I went upstairs, avoiding the master bedroom, instead opting for the guest room where I laid down but found no rest. As I stared at the ceiling, my mind raced with the possibilities of Leo's findings. Who was this man who had intruded into my life? How would I confront him, and more importantly, how would I make Elena regret her actions? I needed more than just revenge, I needed to expose the deceit for all it was. By morning, a plan began to take shape, clearer with each passing moment. Elena would have to face the consequences of her betrayal, not just through our personal confrontation but in a way that would leave her with nothing to hide behind. As dawn broke, my phone vibrated with a message from Leo. He had a lead. The day was just beginning, and with it, my quest for retribution. My heart was heavy, but my resolve was unyielding. Today would be a turning point, and I was ready. The morning sun did little to warm the chill that had settled in my bones. Leo's message was terse but promising. He had identified the man in the videos. His name was Alex Rossi, an investor with a shadowy reputation. More importantly, he had located where Alex would be today, a high-stakes business meeting at a luxury hotel downtown. I dressed with a single purpose, my movements mechanical. The suit I chose was sharp, a stark contrast to the disarray of my emotions. As I drove downtown, the plan I devised the night before crystallized with each mile that passed beneath my tires. The hotel loomed large as I approached, its facade a gleaming testament to the lives of those who frequented it. I parked and walked into the lobby, my heart thumping in my chest but my exterior calm. Leo had sent Alex's photo to my phone, and I recognized him immediately in the lobby, tall, with slick back hair and an expensive suit that couldn't hide his predatory gaze. He was laughing, a sound that grated on my nerves, as he shook hands with another businessman. I approached, my steps measured, my voice steady when I called out, "Alex Rossi." He turned, his smile fading slightly as he assessed me. "Do I know you?" "We haven't met, but you know my wife, Elena Carter." The color drained from his face, confirming his guilt as clearly as the videos. "I think you're mistaken," he stammered, trying to regain his composure. "I don't think so," I said, pulling out my phone to show him a paused frame from one of the videos. "I'd recognize my wife anywhere." Alex glanced around nervously, his eyes darting to the businessman beside him who had taken a step back, sensing the tension. "Let's talk somewhere private," Alex suggested. I nodded, and we moved to a secluded corner of the lobby. "Why send me the videos?" I asked, cutting straight to the heart of the matter. "It was a mistake," he confessed, his voice low. "I meant to send them to someone else, someone who'd pay to keep them quiet. Elena owes me a lot of money." "So, you used her infidelity as leverage?" He swallowed, his facade crumbling. "Yes. But I didn't mean to send them to you. It was a mix-up." "A costly one," I said coldly. "Now, you're going to tell me everything, every detail of your affair with my wife. And then, you're going to help me ensure she gets what she deserves for this betrayal." Alex's resistance faltered under the weight of his error. He nodded, resigned. "Okay, I'll tell you everything." As he spoke, revealing every sordid detail of their relationship, the pieces of my plan fell into place. I would use this information not just to confront Elena but to dismantle her life piece by piece, as she had done to our marriage. After extracting every piece of information I could from Alex, I left him with a warning. "If you contact Elena again, or if you try to extort her or anyone else with this information, I'll turn everything over to the police. And believe me, I have more than enough to ensure it sticks." He nodded, his confidence shattered, knowing he had no other option but to comply. As I walked back to my car, my phone vibrated. It was a text from Elena, "Please come home. We need to talk." I stared at the screen, the words blurring before my eyes. It was time to face her, armed with the truth and ready to end this charade. I started the car, my resolve as cold and hard as the city streets. Today, Elena would learn the full extent of my betrayal, just as I had learned of hers. The drive back home felt longer than usual, each stoplight a moment suspended in time, stretching out the inevitable confrontation awaiting me. My mind was a whirlwind of emotion and calculation, planning each word I would say to Elena. As I pulled into the driveway, the house looked different, less like a home and more like a battleground. I steeled myself as I opened the door, finding Elena waiting in the living room, her face pale, her eyes red-rimmed from crying. "Michael, please," she began, rising to meet me as I closed the door behind me. "Let me explain." "There's nothing left to explain," I interrupted, my voice cold, detaching myself from the remnants of our life together. "I know everything." Elena flinched as if struck, her eyes widening. "What do you mean?" "I met Alex today," I said, watching as her face crumbled with the realization that her secret was fully exposed. "He was very informative." Her hands trembled, and she sank back onto the couch. "Michael, I made a mistake. It was never about love with him. It was money, I was in trouble, and he promised to help." "And you thought betraying your husband was the price you were willing to pay?" I accused, my voice rising in anger. "It wasn't like that," she protested weakly. "But it was, Elena. And now, you're going to pay the real price." The chill in my words seemed to hang in the air between us. "What are you going to do?" Her voice was a whisper, fear seeping through. "First, everyone will know of your deceit." I pulled out my phone, showing her the emails ready to be sent to our friends, family, and her colleagues, emails containing the videos and a detailed account of her betrayal. "No, please, Michael, don't do this." She was crying now, her composure shattered. "It's done." I hit send, ignoring her sobs. "And I've frozen our joint accounts. You won't get a penny from me." Elena gasped, her hands covering her mouth. "You can't do this." "I can, and I have." My reply was devoid of emotion. "And there's one more thing. I paused, savoring the fear that flickered in her eyes. Alex won't be a problem anymore. I've taken care of that. What did you do? She stammered, rising to her feet. He's been reported for embezzlement and fraud. With the evidence I provided, he'll be busy with the authorities for a long time. You won't be seeing him again. You've ruined me, she whispered, the realization of her complete and utter defeat dawning on her. Yes, I agreed, my voice steady. Just as you tried to ruin me. I turned to leave, my suitcase already packed and waiting by the door. Elena made a move as if to stop me but then stopped herself, perhaps knowing it was futile. As I reached the door, I turned for one final look. Goodbye, Elena. I wish I could say it was good while it lasted. With that, I stepped out of the house, the door closing behind me with a sense of finality. The weight of my actions, harsh and perhaps cruel, settled within me, but there was no turning back. As I drove away, the last ties that bound us together were severed, not just by distance but by the irreversible scars of betrayal. I had avenged my heart and my pride, but at what cost? The question lingered in the air, as the city lights faded into the distance, marking the end of my old life and the uncertain beginning of something new.